Hello guys, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today we have a ugly house, or a typical Minecraft house for a noob, and we're basically going to remodel this, showing you the building mistakes and how I make houses look good. It's got a pretty basic interior with empty chests, of course. You've got a nice water room and chest and your friend's bedroom or whatever, and then you've got your bedroom with an enchanting station, and then you've got an attic as your storage room. Yep, so, right. Now I'm going to show you how to make this house look a lot better. Just pop down the ladder. Cool. Right. As you can see, it's kind of blocky. Now, stop using OG blocks. You've got so many blocks in the inventory to use. Don't use the OG ones. Now, first thing you can do is raise your house a couple of blocks up to make it the centre of attention. As you can see, I'm just doing this. Okay, so this is set up. So basically, some good block palettes are like, for example, bricks and quartz pillars, cobblestone, spruce logs, and terracotta. And there's loads of other designs you can try. White concrete powder, white wall, and oak logs. There's so many ideas that you can have. But I'm doing a pretty basic house here, which is just oak and oak logs with a cobblestone and stone brick roof, as you'll see later. I'm almost done with this terraforming. There we go. As you see, it's the centre of attention. So now I just need to break that. Cool. Now I start grabbing the blocks, like my oak logs, and yep, there we go. So all the way up. Right. Then I'm going to hollow out the interior. As you can see, I like to hollow out the interior. There we go. 8 by 8. 10. La la la. Cool. Right. Hollowed it out. Let's get going. So I start filling in the walls of this. There we go. Then I destroy the doors and fill it in, making a complete blank wall. Then I start adding the other frame, and I start on the roof framing to add some depth to the house. Okay, so I'm doing a peaked roof. There we go, almost done. So that's peaked framing. There we go. Then I hollow it out some more. Then I start working out the floors. There we go. So I find the windows. Right, so there we go. I start working out the floor. Most people think that 2 blocks is an acceptable floor. It's not. It's actually 3 blocks. And as you see, I'm doing 3 blocks, and then I'm putting the beam in there. There we go. And I start adding some more framing. So I grab spruce and all that. Now I misjudged the door a bit, but okay. I can fix that. Well, I will fix that. Then, as you can see, I start adding in, and I realise that I'm in the door. I'm actually in the wall, so I retracted it a bit. Cool, and I'll just move it along. Well, twice, 2 blocks actually. Repair the wall and start again. I'm not the fastest builder, but nor the best builder. But in my opinion, I really enjoy Minecraft, so I recommend you go give it a check it out. Yeah, so I start adding in the blocks, and you can do many different ideas. It's such a good game. So I start adding in the windows with some trapdoors to add some colour to the house. I use coarse dirt because I will use grass later. Then I'll get rid of that. I add some flowers. I got tulips and lily of the valley. I think that's what that is. There we go. So adding more of this, and this will change later. I'm gonna start doing this. if you want to follow a tutorial, don't just use your own shape of house, because don't bother cutting blocks. But if you need to, it's a 10 by 10 house with 10 blocks tall with 3 floors. I think about 10 floors. No, 3 floors. Yeah, not 10 floors. It's not a skyscraper, but I did build houses like you can see, box with pyramid roofs and blocks of glass. But I've now, as I've gotten into the game, I've changed from that disgusting style. I'm just walking up the framing. Almost done with it. Now I'm going to be quiet so I can concentrate on the build. Because the roof is a very difficult thing to do. Almost done. So I start texturing the roof now with andesite and mossy brick. As you can see, this it looks like it's held on by a string, the roof, so I usually go on the inside with stone bricks to make it look more substantial, like this. Then I start adding in the roof. I add the andesite. I meant to add the cobblestone. There we go, add the cobblestone. It gives it some texture and just weathering to it. Oh, you can use stone bricks and cobblestone trim, but I think this looks really good. Boom. Set the time today. Now, okay, so this is what the house is looking like at the moment. Okay, right. I started adding more of the roof. You see, I've seen loads of these houses on younger people's builds and new players' builds and other people's builds. I just feel like it doesn't look brilliant, even though it looks like a real house. Don't build a real house properly. Build it like with depth and style, because it doesn't look good no matter how you build it. Unless you're someone who's really good at building and spent ages on it. I clear up my inventory to go grab so I start texturing and covering up the log texture in a way. I texture it with stripped logs so it looks like it's smoother and weathered. It's just the little details that really help with Minecraft builds. So I misjudged the floor a bit there. Oops. So I get rid of that. There we go. And I start on the... Now this is where I muck about a bit. It's all about testing. Don't try and get it right first time, because it might not look the best. Try. You just have to try to get it the way you want it. And I think I did a really good job on this. And just how it looks. So this looks a bit bare. But for now, I start adding in the blocks. There we go. Cool. And then you see, like, you add in the glass panes. It adds more depth. Then I will grab, so I'm trying to work out what's the best way to go with this. Whether it's too thick log, it doesn't look good. Or I go with, I'm trying to judge. Then I go with one middle window and 2 normal pane windows in a minute. So I realise that I do this. So I cover it in, and I go down here and fix it up. Because that doesn't look too good. Then add it in, cool. And then I go and add some spruce stairs. Now it's oak logs and spruce stairs, and that's the stair variant I always use for oak logs because the texture usually matches. I'll grab the trapdoor. Trapdoors are really good for really anything, as you can see. I use trapdoors in most of my builds, whether they're for front doors or for textures. As you can see, it adds adds to the style of the house. There we go. Then I start adding in the flower beds. I didn't put flowers in it yet, and now I use grass blocks to add a little bit more colour to the build. Now I have found that using certain blocks like sponge, diorite can look ugly unless you use them correctly. Sponge isn't a good housing material in any case. The main blocks you're meant to use are like sandstones and stuff. So what I like to use is usually basic texturing. There we go. To fix around with this house. I have a good fiddle. That's how I like it, and eventually I get it. Now you can add things like shutters and stuff on the outside of the house, but I think it kind of overcrowds it a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. The way I used to build houses that looked good, I put framing jungle logs on the outside, not outside. So it's like an actual frame. So it used to look very flat and plain, whereas this has lots of depth and lots of interesting details like the trapdoors and the windows and the moss. So I start texturing this side as well, and I do the same on the other sides as well. I finish texturing it. Now you can do the interior no matter how you like, but then I start doing it on the other sides. So as you can see, I've done the other side. Now I start working on this side. Now this is where I tend to get rid of the blockiness and working out where I put an overhang in. As you can see, I start flattening out the land. Now the roof will look weird on this, but I kind of couldn't do anything about that. So, whoops. But yeah, so I add in this. There you go. This little overhang. Well, not little. I start adding in the roof. I try to decide what the roof will be. I already know, but is it slabs or stairs? I went with stairs eventually. Boom. And I just added it along. As you can see, easy as pie. Then I finished the roof just a little bit of time later. I kind of jumped forward there because it was kind of boring. There you go. As you can see, it does look a little bit weird, but I just lowered the slab by one block, and it sort of works, not brilliantly. Now, what I found with roofs is that don't do the same block. Never do the same block. It looks really bad and just horrible to look at. So never use the same block for your roof. I will be showing you some of my other builds, and they're all almost similar in designs, with the framing and the panes in most of my works. But I start adding in the floor, and adding another wall, and I'm working out where the window will go. So I've worked out where the window is going to go, and I decide even more. There we go, but it's going there. Now this will later be the library, where your enchanting room will go, but we can see that later. So I add in, same as the last side, I fill that in, I decide where the window is going to go, I cover everything up, well, almost, and then here we go, and I add in, I add in the beams, where the beams will go, support beams. Cool. And the ceiling is going to be spruce slabs. There we go. So yeah, so never use the same block, because it just looks like a box, and it just doesn't work. It really doesn't. Now down here I start to add, underneath the overhang, I add a little blacksmithing area, as this house is designed to be a survival practical house. Now it's not practical to design, but it is still practical. Then I add in there. Then I'll add some framing to cover that up a little bit, as you will see later on. Now you can interiorize it if you do build your house this house on your own. You can interiorize it if you like, and I might give a tutorial on interiors in the future. So I stair this bit, but I eventually slab it later with spruce. There we go. Right. Then I spruce it up a bit. Get it? Spruce it up a bit. No, that's such a bad one. But okay. I put spruce along here, and then I begin on hollowing out the floor. I add another door in, as I did the same with the last one. Now this will help with and this will help the design as well, because it sort of adds some depth. And another reason why I use panes is that it gives it a sort of a bit of a windowsill in a way. Sort of gives it a windowsill, and then I start adding in some texturization, some weathering and stuff onto the walls. Get rid of these ugly windows, and I start the black moving area. But first, I must add some windows, because panes as always, and then I start to look at the house. Always go back and look at it. Always look at it. As you can see, it looks alright. Then I start dividing the floor material. Then I just add this. I start working out the floor. 12 by 8. 12 by 8, and I offset it a little bit. There we go. There we go. And then I decide that that's where I want the floor. I make it air blocks, and then I load it in. There we go. So I start to semi-fill it in, and then I fill it in. See, I texture it with light grey concrete powder, polish andesite, and just andesite into it. There we go. Now, also with lighting in your builds is a very key thing. Now, I also use this as a bit of a practical area, so I get anvils and blacksmithing area all set up. So as you can see, I'm adding lighting underneath using half slabs, and that tends to add some hidden lighting. As you can see, I add some glowstone behind these that sort of illuminates the build. As you can see, there we go. Cool. And some of them you can't do because it looks bad, like up here. You can see the glowstone. You can see the glowstone, so I repair that. There we go. I've got in the house, I add in some more lighting where I can. And this just helps to, again, use the centre of attention in your build. So don't be looking at your pond, you're meant to look at the house. So you see, I start adding in a fireplace, but I will return to this later, make it look better, and make it more practical. I get some case trapdoors, which looks like grates, or whatever you want to call them. Adding in some stair blocks to make it like there's missing bricks, and it's very rustic. And at the end of the side, it doesn't look too good with that. I add in more stairs, and so that unless the brick is missing, then I add in a table and chair. Like, I don't know, put things on or have something to eat on, not sure. And I like using chairs with sandstone slabs and trapdoors, which trapdoors are some of my favourite blocks in the game, because they're so multi-use. Now I grab an anvil. Now I really get it, so I start to think about everything over there. And then I also have a invisible item frames mod on, but you might not have this, so the detail I do on the anvil probably won't you won't be able to do, but still. So thinking, why am I enchanting a sword to put on there? Amazing is it looks like a red hot sword, as you can see. Now I don't know what happened here, but I've got an idea. Yeah, floating swords, don't want that. So it looks like a boiling hot red hot glowing sword. Then as you can see, I start looking around a bit, and I add some vines, well, not vines, but weeds hanging over, and I finish the flowers around the house. I'll just fill it in whatever is necessary, as you can see. And already this is a huge improvement. But I decided to, I don't want to overweed it, but I kind of do. And I bone meal around the place to make it look rustic and nice, as you can see. And then I interiorize it. And here's the interior, as you can see. Got a nice dining area and with a fireplace, and there's this area with the same kind of thing. You can see there's more area. Then you pick upstairs, we have a noose hanging on the wall, a painted sort of thing, the library area, as you can see, and then you go downstairs, and that's it. And really, this is a huge improvement. I really like what I've done with this house. I think this isn't my best work, as I'll show you at the end, all my other works, but otherwise, great small build.